I won't swing on your chair if you can help it.
Oh. Hi, I'm Jackson Lake and you're watching Assembly Point. What's new in the world of Jackson Lake? Well, I've just released a brand new single called After the Rains that came out on the 24th of June, and it was a single that came out not connected to any albums. It's been almost 6 months since, in fact it has been 6 months since my album Lost and Found came out, and that's the last thing I released. That did really well, and I'm pleased to say that the single on the day it came out came into the top 10 of the iTunes country chart, which was nice. I'm also halfway through recording the follow-up to that album, Lost and Found. We've got no titles or anything for that yet, but it's begun, so that is something to look out for. How will the new album differ from the last one? We set out to do it slightly different from last time. The last one we did was, it started off recording completely remotely during the COVID lockdown. So the first 2 or 3 songs we did, it was all at a distance before we could actually get into the studio. For this one, I really wanted to start the process all being in the same room and organically coming up with some sounds. We've got real drums on this one. Fantastic drummer called Liam Sullivan, who has kindly played the drums on this on this album, which has been a great experience for me, because having a drummer in the room and learning the songs at the same time as me, really. Although I've had these songs kicking around for a while, I've been learning them while we've been recording. We've been sort of shaping them and directing them that way. I think also it's going to differ in the fact that these songs are all very of a certain time period. I think I had a lot longer to write the songs for the last one. All these songs have been written since the last one came out until now. Until maybe about 6 months ago. They're written over a very short period of time, which I think has given me the, not luxury, but the kind of a bit more urgency, I think, to not sit on them for too long and not have too much of a preformed idea of what they're going to be like. So when we take them into the studio, we can then create together, I think, and see what ideas work. I've not got really a fully formed idea of any of them. Your last album peaked at #1 in the country chart. Are the charts important? Yes, it did. 2 of the singles from it got into the top 10, and the album got to #1. And in the country chart, on iTunes, it's not, I don't think it is important. It's nice. It's certainly nice. It's a massive sort of feather in the cap. It's a really smiley day of, oh my God, I'm in the charts. Do I think it's important? Not really. It doesn't shape the way that you make the music. It doesn't shape the way that you write the songs, per se. I'm always just going to write whatever comes out of me. Don't get me wrong, it felt absolutely amazing seeing that my album that we'd spent so much time and love on got recognised, and if nothing more, that's a really great marketing tool for the next series of songs that are going to come out. What really has been nice through that whole process is seeing, not necessarily being in the chart, but seeing where the songs have got to organically, just around the world, different countries and things like that. That, when I started making music, I never thought would be a possible thing to happen, really. Little islands in Indonesia and Africa, and I think I'm on 50 some countries now, which just seems ridiculous. But it's great. And adding a chart placement, and that's just a sort of icing on the cake, really, I think. What made you put out a single song between albums? I've been getting more and more confident with doing recordings on my own. Just sat at home. just so I've got a little setup. I've got a little recording setup with one little mic, and it's been a learn that watching the album come together, the Lost and Found album come together, was quite an eye-opening experience of the processes that go into making music. And I'm always one to roll up my sleeves and get my hands dirty. You know, it's been nice to sort of just experiment at home. You know, while I've had some free time, and I've always got an abundance of songs. But it's also been a good experience to write songs with recording as a songwriting tool, which I've never done before. You know, I've set up loops and drums and things like that, and it's given me a little bit more direction. So this single really is the result of that. I wasn't intending on putting a single out at all. We've been working on the songs in the studio, and I thought that would probably be the next release. But this song came together. It actually came together in a 24-hour period. It was written, recorded at home completely. I play acoustic guitar, sing, and I play harmonica. And listening back to it, I just didn't think it could be any better than it was. So just as an experiment, really, I just thought, right, well, I think it's got to go out there. I really enjoy playing the song live. At the time, I'd had a little accident and I'd broken my hand, so I could only actually play guitar with 2 fingers. So the guitar you hear on the track is just me playing with my 2 fingers. But you know, I stand by it. I actually think it's a great song. It's exactly what I intended on writing it to be. It's got a great message. I think the message behind the song is, you know, picking up the pieces after some sort of turmoil, whether it be through a war zone or whether it just be your own personal emotional turmoil. And it's just a really fun song to play. How has your music changed since you started out? So I released my first album in 2015. We recorded it in a back room of my friend's house. Just a very small setup. It was mostly acoustic guitar and vocal. We did add some drums, bit of bass, I think some accordion as well. I think there's a couple of songs I've got accordion on. I actually don't play any of that album now live. Maybe one song every so often. And the album after that was just a pure acoustic, stood in front of one mic. We did the whole thing in 4 hours in the back room of someone's house. So those early days were very much, I've got a song, what's the best way I can, who can record it, kind of very put together haphazardly. I stand by the songs, you know. I think you know they're very much a learning curve. But I think now the music has changed very much where I'm in touch with lots of people who know a bit more about the whole process of making music, and constantly learning from that, really, you know, and collaborating with other people rather than I know best kind of thing, which I think I did have that little idea at one point. I think, you know, I was very much in the I know best, I'm good at this, and but now it's more collaborating with other people. It really does make a big difference. It shapes the way that, you know, the other people's ideas can really shape the way a song gets put across. And it's just about, I think I've grown up somewhat since the last, what has it been, 7 years. I feel like my music is a lot more in tune with my own being now. Whereas at one point it was just, you know, I've always been a lyric person, but I think at one point I just made up words that sounded cool. Whereas now it's more about actual things. It's a way of getting a lot of things off my chest sometimes. I've said recently that music is my therapy, and it most definitely is. It's a way of dealing with your emotions. So I think in that time, I think the short answer to that question would be that I think I've grown up musically over the last 7 years. In your opinion, what makes a great song? A great song doesn't necessarily have to have the stereotypical sort of values of what makes a great song. I don't know whether it be a great guitar solo or strong, even a strong voice. It doesn't need to have a strong singer, really. I mean, I think mainly what makes a great song is the way that people identify with it, because it can. The songs that stick around forever are the songs that more people can identify with. I think, the songs that make you think, make you feel, take you to a certain point in your life, they really become the soundtrack of someone's life. I know that's a bit of a cliche, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the great biggest production going. Even the simplest of songs, maybe just played on a piano or an acoustic guitar, or we're in 2022, maybe there's no instruments involved. Maybe it's all made digitally on a computer. But the core values, I think great lyrics speak for themselves, because that's the way of communicating. But then again, melody, I think, speaks to people's hearts sometimes, and it can make you feel a certain way. I think great songs make you feel, not necessarily happy, sad, but everything. I think a great song makes you feel. Where do you see yourself in a year? In a year's time, I'd like to have finished the new album. Hopefully that'll be out in the world, and I'd like to have at least either started or have a tour planned around the UK, probably at first. Just because that's something I've never really done. I mean, I've played a million live shows since I started this, but I've never really done the whole, right, here's 10 dates, we're going to drive around the UK and play a specific tour of my own music, so I think that's kind of a thing I'd like to do. Just continue writing, releasing music. I'd really love to collaborate with some more people. Anything you like to add or promote? Yes, I've got a show coming up in Headingley on the 6th of August at Vinyl Whistle. That is a rescheduled date of what should have been the 28th of May, but I couldn't unfortunately play that show because I had a broken hand, so I couldn't play guitar. So we've rescheduled that for the 6th of August. Good friend of mine, Mr. Craig Gold, is coming up from the Midlands to support that. It's £8 a ticket, and you get those from the Vinyl Whistle website. It's going to be a great day. Really looking forward to that gig. So if anyone's interested, get your tickets. I'm going to say Sheryl Crow. That'd be awesome. I'm tempted to say 15, but I think I'll keep it at 12. There's room to grow. I like it. I've got to say guitar, really. It's probably the one I play the best. I don't really know what I'm doing, but it's probably the one I play the best. I've got a Gibson J45 from 2002. I bought it new. It's 20 years old this year, in September, I believe. I don't know why it's my favourite instrument, but it just fits my hand. So I'll have to say late nights. I want to be an early morning person, but I always end up being a late night person. At the moment, making music. It's always been playing music, but at the moment I'm just really, really enjoying making music.